In this video, I got 10 tips, which if you implement them right away, it will instantly make you a better photographer. Let's hop right into it. Number one is to slow down and think. And I know this sounds cliche, but sometimes we see something and we want to take the photo right away. Sometimes if you just step back, right, and just survey the room or survey wherever you at and think, what could I do to make this a better photo? Whether it's placing something in the frame, whether it's taking something out the frame, whether it's changing the position or whatever, a lot of times we could get a better photo. So I know that's foundational, right? But sometimes that's what you got to do. Now, the second thing is for people like me, right? And that's to stop shooting everything with a shallow depth of field. Now, this one is a hard one for me, right? Because I got like lenses like this, the 50mm f1.2 gangster mode, right? This is an f1.2 lens, which means at f1.2, it melts the background away. But the problem with this is, even though we love the way like blurry backgrounds look, when you really want to make your photography stand out, sometimes it's actually not the right decision. So the problem with shooting some with a super shallow depth of field is the subject isolation is amazing, but you get no details with what's going on in the frame. So sometimes it's a good idea to close down the aperture to bring more into focus that's in the background, and you can still have your subject isolated, but it will tell more of what's going on in the photo. So I know there's a place and a time for these super blurry backgrounds, but not every photo needs to be like that. Sometimes you need to use your background to your advantage. Now, the third tip is to use foreground to your advantage. So what that means is either put something in front of the subject that you're taking a photo of, or shoot through something. So this is one of the easiest things that you can do to make your photo stand out over everybody else's, right? Sometimes you just need to, pick up something and put it in front of the camera lens and shoot through it while aiming at your subject. Or it might just mean like, taking a photo from behind the wall and half the wall blocking the shot. And what this will do is it'll draw the attention in a way that a normal photo won't to whatever the subject is. Now, this works better with longer focal lengths. So if you got like a 40 or 50mm or, longer than that, the effect is more pronounced, but use foreground to your advantage. The fourth tip I have is to try different focal lengths. Sometimes we get lenses like 50mm and we think everything needs to be shot at 50mm. Well, that's not always the case. So here's an example. Here's a photo shot at 24mm. As you can see, it's just super wide. And I mean, I can see what's going on, but there's nothing that stands out and grabs my eye. But let's just say I take the same photo at 35mm. The whole perspective of the photo changes. So play around with different focal lengths and don't get locked into thinking that I can only take photos with a 50mm or 85mm. No, try different things. You'll get different results. The next one is stop taking every photo in landscape. Listen, not all photos look the best in landscape. Sometimes photos actually look better taken in portrait orientation. Now, this also forces you to change up the composition because I can't fit everything in a frame this way like I can that way. So just start, taking photos at both orientations and start seeing which one works better for you for the type of stuff you like to shoot. But get out of your own way, get out of your own habits and try something different. So since we're talking about landscape photos and portrait photos, we might as well talk about today's sponsor, and that is Motion Array. So if you've never checked out Motion Array, they have a whole bunch of assets, video templates, stock footage, photos, music, sound effects, and the list goes on and on and on. And they also have a whole bunch of plugins for all of your different softwares like Final Cut Pro, After Effects, DaVinci Resolve, Premiere Pro, with all of these built-in templates and stuff that you can use. And they even have stuff like Instagram templates that you can drop into Final Cut Pro or whatever your favorite editing software is, and drop the photos into the drop zone and get high quality stories that you can share on Instagram, TikTok, whatever. But that's included. The great thing about Motion Array is it's membership based. So that means you sign up for a month or a year and boom, you get everything you want. You can download as much as you want and you can use it whenever you want. And they have a built-in collaboration platform called Review that makes working together with your friends and other people that you work with real easy. Now, the best part of all of this is you can try out Motion Array for free. Now, of course, you don't get everything if you try it out for free, but if you do want to go ahead and sign up, use the link in the description for a limited time only. I can save you $50 off the annual plan. Motion Array will help you create better videos right away. Do it now, don't wait. And thank you to Motion Array for sponsoring today's video. Now, the next tip I have is to start looking for light. And I know that sounds super simple, but remember, photography is all about lighting. You can't be mad if you go take a picture of a freaking coffee cup in the corner of a dark room and the photo comes out trash. There was no light there. So light is what we use to motivate all of our photos and videos. So I'm not saying that you got to get all super technical technical and go get off camera flashes and all that stuff. It comes later, but just start looking for light around you. Chances are, if you see something and it looks dope, it'll also be a dope photo, okay? So start using window light, start going outside behind buildings to catch, you know, the shadow side of the building. Go outside on a cloudy day to get the diffused light. You know, just start looking for sources of light. And if you don't have light, just wait to take the freaking photo until you have a light source. The next thing I want to tell you to do is to shoot raw on your camera if you can. Now, shooting raw does have consequences, okay? It usually means bigger file sizes, but what it gives you is amazing because it captures all of the color data off of the sensor and it doesn't alter it at all. That way, when you get it into the computer or your phone, you have all of the detail there to work with, to manipulate the colors, to bring your highlights back and lift your shadows and all that other stuff without the photo falling apart. Now, if you don't have any type of raw workflow or you just don't want to get into it, the other thing that you could do is use your camera's built-in JPEG engine. All of these modern cameras take fantastic JPEGs, and a lot of them allow you to, you know, dial in a custom look. So they have different like color profiles and film simulations and all of that stuff. But just know if you use a JPEG, you won't have as much latitude when it comes to manipulating the image. But the positive is smaller file sizes and you get an image that you don't have to do anything with. So use RAW, but also use JPEG if you can. The next tip I have is use angles to your advantage. And I'll give you two specific examples. If you want something to look larger than life, take a photo from underneath it. If you want something to look smaller, take a photo from on top of it, shooting down at it. The next tip I have is to use leading lines to your advantage. A lot of people struggle with getting their composition right when it comes to framing in the camera. The easiest way to do this is if you have like a rule of thirds grid in your camera, freaking turn that on, okay? And then use leading lines to your advantage. So leading lines have two important purposes. Number one, they help draw your attention to something that could be further off in the frame. Think of like the lines on the street. If you see a street and you see two lines going up the middle of it, you naturally follow the lines, and if there's a subject there, boom, that's creativity. That is art right there. But the other thing is leading lines, whether it's buildings, whether it's, you know, sidewalks, whatever the case may be. A lot of times you can line them up while you're previewing with your rule of thirds grid, and as long as those lines match up and they're straight, that means typically that your photo is coming out straight. So use your leading lines to your advantage. And the last tip I have for you is to stop freaking spraying and praying, okay? What I like to do is think that in my camera, where is it? Okay, right here. Think that the memory card in this camera, although I know I have tons of storage and I can just delete it, I can take 1,000 photos and delete 1,000 if I want to. Back before we had digital, you had to buy film, okay? And these film rolls would cost you money, number one, but number two, they would only have like 30 exposures. So that forced you to step back, and this ties back into the first thing, and slow down and think about the composition and the photo you're about to take before you take it. I found that using this technique, the idea that, hey, this memory card in here only has 30 exposures on it, no more, no less. I found that consistently gives me better results with my photos because I had to slow down and freaking think about what I had to do. So that's 10 tips. I might have gave you 11 to instantly improve your photography. You can practice them on your phone, your camera, whatever the case may be. Just start using them right away. If you got value from this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. Big thank you to Motion Array for sponsoring today's video. Make sure you go at least try it out. At least try it out using the link in the description. And until next time, I'm out of here. Tight shirt, Terry Warfield. Piece of chicken grease. Much love, y'all. Peace. Oh yeah, remember to be thankful for your life. How about that? Peace.